When heroes fight against each other, how long does it take Iron Man to stop pulling his punches? Our story begins in a nondescript neighborhood in Stamford, Connecticut. A group of heroes surveil a suburban home, followed closely by a cameraman. These are the New Warriors, a group of young heroes trying to become famous with their superhero reality show. Inside are some of the world's most dangerous criminals. Microbe suggests they hold back. These villains are way out of their league, but Speedball objects. Think about the ratings! As they formulate a plan, Coldheart spots them and runs inside. It's a raid! The heroes blast in, trying to take down the villains quickly, while of course looking as cool as they can for their audience. Speedball easily handles Speed Freak, Namorita, Night Thrasher, and Microbe knock out Coldheart and Cobalt Man. But Nitro gets away. I'm on it. Namorita soars through the air and smashes Nitro into a school bus. On your feet, Nitro, and don't try any of your stupid explosions, because that's only going to make me hit you harder. I'm afraid we're not the bargain basement losers you guys are used to, baby. Nitro's eyes begin to glow as a smile crosses his face. You're playing with the big boys now. Nitro explodes in a massive blast of energy, destroying everything in the area, including an elementary school. Not long after, the heroes show up to aid in the search and rescue. Captain America and Iron Man discuss the ramifications of the explosion and the New Warriors' part in it. The whole country saw the tape where they said they were only chasing ratings. Nearby, the X-Men pitch in to help, only to be watched over by the Sentinels. We volunteer to help with a federal emergency, and you're still following us around? Won't be just mutants they're watching after this one. Yeah, well, maybe they're right this time, Goliath. Who the hell can justify this? Days later, a massive funeral is held to honor the children who had died. The priest chastises the careless heroes who caused this mess. Among the attendees is Tony Stark. As he steps out, a woman spits in his face as tears stream down her face. We're gonna have to ask you to leave. Leave what? My own son's funeral? Stark's the one you should be dragging away. Stark argues that he has nothing to do with the reckless New Warriors. She argues that he and the Avengers have been role models for superpowered kids who think they're above the law. You fund this sickness, Stark, with your dirty billions. Things begin to turn ugly in the streets of New York. Johnny Storm, the Human Torch, and one of the most famous men alive, is attacked outside of a nightclub, just for being a superhero. Baby killer! A few days later, every major superhero joins together in the Baxter Building to discuss the ongoing legislation. The government wants to register all superpowered individuals, become a federal employee, retire from heroism, or go to jail. Becoming public employees makes perfect sense if it helps people sleep a little easier. Things are getting heated. The heroes are already becoming divided. The one hero missing is Captain America, who's currently 6 miles above New York in a meeting with Commander Maria Hill on the SHIELD helicarrier. I think this plan will split us down the middle. I think you're going to have us at war with one another. Cap reveals that there are a few major names opposed to registration, mostly street-level heroes like Luke Cage and Daredevil. So nobody you can't handle. Excuse me? You heard. You're asking me to arrest people who risk their lives for this country every day of the week. The two get in a shouting match as dozens of SHIELD soldiers in armor appear and cock their weapons. Weapons down, boys. Stand your ground, gentlemen. Captain America is not in command here. Weapons down, or I will not be responsible for what comes next. Tranquilizers on, boys. Get ready. This is insane. The SHIELD agents begin to shoot at Cap, but with his lightning-quick reflexes, he grabs the two nearest agents and uses them to block the tranks. He swiftly attacks, taking them down one man at a time. Take him down. Don't even think about it, little man. Cap puts his shield in front of him and bulldozes through the agents, crashing through the window of the airborne helicarrier. He lands on a nearby jet, shatters the protective glass, and forces the pilot to land. You idiot, we're trying to save lives. As night falls at the Baxter Building, Uatu the Watcher appears. He only appears to record moments of great change and enormous upheaval. His presence now does not bode well. A few days later, the president meets with 3 of the spearheads for the pro-registration movement: Tony Stark, Reed Richards, and Hank Pym. Cap going underground means every superhero who disagrees with us suddenly has a figurehead. You push ahead with registration as planned, gentlemen. Leave Captain America to us. Cap goes underground, continuing with his hero work, busting guys like Vulture and Grim Reaper. I thought you idiots were supposed to be hunting him down. There's just no way Captain America could have taken down all these guys at once. I don't think he's on his own anymore. In New York City, the registered heroes high-five and celebrate destroying a massive Doombot. They're met with raucous applause from civilians on the streets. Hear that? That's the sound of people starting to believe in superheroes again. Will we still technically be superheroes after this? The only thing changing is that the kids, the amateurs, and the sociopaths are getting weeded out. What category does Captain America fall into? Up in Tony Stark's penthouse, Tony sits with Happy Hogan and waits for midnight when registration officially becomes law. Oh god, please let us be doing the right thing here. Only one day later, S.H.I.E.L.D. starts making their first vigilante arrests. The young Patriot sprints away from a helicopter where agents quickly realize that their little tranq guns are useless on him. Patriot pants as he leaps off a building, crashing through a window across the street. S.H.I.E.L.D. just caught me breaking up a mugging, and now they're all over me. This is serious. These guys are not messing around. A couple of bombs clatter at his feet, then explode and cover the entire floor with knockout gas. At an unknown location, Daredevil and Luke Cage watch the rest of the Young Avengers loaded onto a S.H.I.E.L.D. prison van. Cage says Captain America and Falcon are already on the scene. Cocky Mr. Wilson even told me to get the damn coffee on. In the front seat of the prison van, one S.H.I.E.L.D. agent yammers on about the political ramifications of registration to the driver. Steve Rogers in disguise. You talk too much. Cap launches his chatty new friend out of the moving van, causing the police cruisers behind them to crash into each other. In the back of the van, Falcon reveals himself to the Young Avengers, also wearing a S.H.I.E.L.D. disguise. He pleads for Wiccan to whip up a teleportation spell stat. Cops are blocking the road already, Falcon. Would you hurry up with that freaking spell? I want to be somewhere else, I want to be somewhere else, I want to be somewhere else, I want to be somewhere else. Just before the rogue prison van crashes into the police cruisers, they are enveloped in a ball of energy and disappear into bright light. The van screeches to a halt. Somewhere else. What's happening? Where are we? Congratulations, children. You just joined the Resistance. They're in an underground S.H.I.E.L.D. compound, the existence of which is only known by one person, Nick Fury. Tony's in Washington, D.C. for a press conference, standing behind Miriam Sharp, the woman who spit in his face at the funeral and spurred his campaign for registration. Tony introduces a more familiar face, Spider-Man, who leaps down to the podium. I've guarded my secret identity pretty carefully over the years, and it's only after a long talk with my wife and family that I've decided to take the following step. My name is Peter Parker, and I've been Spider-Man since I was 15 years old. In the following days, the pro-reg team tries to recruit more allies. Black Panther rejects Reed Richards' plea, though he suggests Reed check on his wife, Sue Storm, who hasn't left her brother's hospital bed. Hank Pym tries to talk to Doctor Strange, but he secluded himself in the Arctic and refuses to meddle in this affair. Tony sits down with Emma Frost, a leader of the X-Men and an old flame of his. Emma says she won't help Tony, but she won't help Cap either. As he walks away, he's stopped by Bishop, who's a little more inclined to join the fight. At a small diner, Cap sits with Hercules, Daredevil, and Goliath in their new secret identities. What kind of name is Rockwell Dodsworth? Team chats about their new identities and the report that Peter unmasked himself, but Cap sits in silence. Just thinking about an appointment I had 10 minutes ago with a kid from the Make-A-Wish Foundation. It's the little things they've stolen from us with this registration garbage. Suddenly, Goliath gets a text. There's a fire at a chemical plant. They dart out of their seats and change in the alleyway. Emergency distress calls, sneaking into alleyways, and changing into costume. I hate to say it, but kinda starting to enjoy this. At Geffen-Meyer Chemicals, all of the anti-reg heroes have gathered together. Cable hears no panic signals on the infonet, but he suddenly stops and looks down. Geffen-Meyer's is a division of Stark Industries. It's a trap! Cap shouts at his two teleporters, Cloak and Wiccan, but they're dropped by a few tranq darts. Of course it's a trap. How else are we gonna get you all in one place? The anti-reg heroes look around. They're surrounded. Avengers on the ground, S.H.I.E.L.D. agents in the air. We didn't come to arrest you, Cap. I talked S.H.I.E.L.D. into offering you one final amnesty. You mean a surrender? Thanks, but I think I'd rather take my chances. Tony lifts his mask and talks to his friend face to face. You've known me half of my adult life, Cap. You know I wouldn't just do this unless I believed in it with all my heart. We don't want to fight you. Just give me a chance to tell you our plans for my 21st century overhaul. Tony extends his hand. Cap pauses, assesses the situation, and shakes his hand. You've got 5 minutes. 5 minutes is all I need. Tony notices something on his hand. Cap placed some sort of device on him. Electricity courses through his suit as Cap clocks him in his unmasked face. Developed by Nick Fury's tech team, in case you ever went over to the other side. The heroes on both sides kick into action. It's an all-out brawl. Spider-Man uses his stealth ability in his new suit to sneak up on Cap and knock him down. Meanwhile, Tony reboots his lifeless armor. It slowly powers up. He rises and flies fist first into Cap's chest. Tony rockets Cap through a brick wall. He stands above him, either taunting him or unwilling to cheap shot one of his best friends. Cap stands and tries to fight him hand to hand. You're wasting your time, Steve. This armor has recorded every punch you've ever thrown. It knows your next move before you do. Tony's right. Cap is helpless. Iron Man deflects every punch thrown and routinely connects with Cap's jaw. His final strike knocks Cap down, destroying his mask in a flurry of blood. Hercules sees all of this and bulldozes through the battlefield to protect his leader. But suddenly, Hercules is hit with a bolt of lightning. All heroes stop in their tracks. Oh god. Standing above all is Thor, the god of thunder, long thought dead. The playing field is no longer even.